Out of control pandemic, record-breaking inflation, a botched pro-enemy foreign policy, and a dangerous and open border. These are just some of the cancerous hallmarks of Joe Biden's left-wing government. And we're only in year one. Joining me now, host of the Trish Regan Show, editor-in-chief of TrishIntel.com, Trish Regan. Also joining me, political analyst and host of Mark Halperin's Focus Group. You can see that right here on Newsmax on the weekends. Mr. Halperin himself. Mark, the China virus spun out of control under Biden, even after Trump expedited the creation of vaccines, tests, and therapeutics. Biden said yesterday he's confident we're, quote, on the right track. More people dying on his watch than Trump's. Record cases, record hospitalizations, firing people for not taking the vaccine that the maker just admitted was ineffective, the Pfizer vaccine. Right track? Really?
Chris, you generously left out the failure to deliver the 500 million masks that they said they do deliver while the pandemic was actually surging. Has not been what the president promised as a candidate. And it's hard to see how they get a handle on this before the State of the Union in March or maybe by the midterms. Some would argue, well, it's a pandemic, there's not much you can do, but he promised there was stuff he could do, and his failure to do it, I think, is part of why you're seeing poll numbers now that are dangerously low for his party.
Yes, and he condemned President Trump for not living up to his expectations that he said he could fulfill. Trish, Americans are also losing confidence in Biden's ability to handle this economy. Hashtag Bare Shelves Biden has been trending on social media platforms. Inflation has hit a 7% rate, first time since '82. Can working Americans afford Biden's incompetency mixed in with the left-wing extremism that is guiding his administration?
No, Americans can't. And, you know, I'm sorry, it is hurting the very people that he promised he was going to help. It's hurting them the most. Poor Americans, middle-class Americans, they're the ones that really feel the pain, right? When gas prices go up 49% compared to where they were last year. Now, one of the things that really struck me today was this inflation report was bad. I knew it was going to be bad. I've been predicting, I suspect we're going to be looking at double-digit inflation by spring. I don't think that they're getting this under control at all. But what was striking to me, Chris, was that he actually lied about it. He said today's report shows a meaningful reduction in headline inflation over last month. First of all, it went up, right, to 7% from 6.8%. And then he said it demonstrates that we are making progress in slowing the rate of price increases. He went on to point out how basically food prices are going down. I'm sorry, food prices are not going down. Food prices are up from where they were last year. Gas prices down ever so slightly, but that was only because people stayed home with the Omicron variant. If you look at where oil's trading right now, you'll find out that, you know, gas prices are going back up. So right. It's not good. Right. It's not good.
Trish is a stickler
I gotta tell you,
for facts.
Yeah. Well, other than there's that, but of course I'm looking too. Who's this guy's press person? Kim Jong-un? I mean, there's about as much honesty in that with the way they communicate with the media. Mark, you know, a lot of people noticing Democrat gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams MIA when Biden went to give his, you know, federalizing elections speech there, and a lot of people are having quote unquote scheduling conflicts appearing with Biden. Your take: how short are Biden's coattails at this point?
I think he might be wearing a T-shirt cut off to show his bare midriff at this point. Look, there's a history here. When we see unpopular presidents headed into a midterm election year, particularly in their first 2 years in office, candidates have to make a choice. Do they want to appear with him or not? Now, I did some reporting on this. It's not entirely clear to me why Stacey Abrams didn't appear with the president, but it certainly foreshadows a potentially very difficult period for the president and the vice president as we get to the period, come the summer, come the fall, where a popular president would normally be in demand all over the country. Let's see which Democratic candidates, when we get to September and October, want Joe Biden and Kamala Harris standing by their side. If they're in a red state, a purple state, or district, I think a lot of them, if the president's numbers stay like this, will take a pass.
Yeah, he'll be big in California and in Washington, D.C., and not many other places.
Brooklyn,
Trish,
also
Wall Street Journal op-ed. Yeah, well, yeah, Brooklyn. Yeah, okay. Op-ed by two top Democrats, Doug Schoen and Andrew Stein, teased a potential presidential run for Hillary Clinton in 2024. Barack Obama once infamously said that we should never underestimate Joe Biden's ability to F things up. If the Socialist Democrat Party is looking to Hillary, How badly has Biden effed up this country?
I'd say pretty darn badly. Yeah, I mean, look, it shows how desperate they are. And it also shows you how much of a problem the Democrat Party now finds itself in. They have no bench. Like, who are they going to go? They're going to go back to Hillary? Are you kidding me? Like, been there, done that. That really didn't work. She had the ability to alienate, shall we say, a lot of voters, right? At least Joe Biden wasn't so, I guess the word is combative in that he alienated so many people. He just stayed in the basement, and people are like, oh, maybe he's a nice guy. Maybe he's totally incompetent, but maybe he's a nice guy. So they went out and voted for him thinking that they were going to get more of the same economic policy that they have been enjoying for 4 years. Hillary had a very high beta, right? A lot of people liked her, a lot of people hated her, but more people hated her. So I think it would be a mistake for them to go back to that. I think they've got to find somebody who has more appeal in the middle and then actually has the credibility, the street cred, and also the intelligence, right, to see it through. Because clearly, Biden has proven he does not.
Yeah. I'm just going to leave it there. Mark Halperin, Trish Regan, thank you very much. Appreciate the time as always.